We live in a world that is run by lies. I mean, what is truth today? And I think, obviously, we both know there's that deep thing within us that is looking for the truth of God. And so when they find a church that preaches truth, but is also open and honest and approachable and authentic, yeah, I think it is exactly what people want.
Hey there, welcome to Pastors Unplugged. All right, when I looked up this guy, this pastor that I'm getting ready to talk to, Pastor Jared Lathem, he's the lead pastor, New Beginnings Methodist, about a minute away from Ezra, my producer over in Kennesaw. When I saw his picture and his beard, I said, and the hair, I said, I'm gonna like talking to this guy. I think we were separated at birth or something. Pastor, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I got to be honest with you, because I read the notes that you put on there. I had to look up what autobiographical is. And I have somewhat of an education, and that's one I haven't seen before. So
okay.
I went and found it. So now I'm good. So I'm good to go. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. Can't complain.
Now, how long have you been there at New Beginnings in Kennesaw?
Just under a year.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm new.
What got you there? I mean, were you on staff at another church? You were leading another church? What?
I had planted a church in East Cobb,
Okay.
and this opportunity came up, and so we prayed about it, and we ended up merging the two.
And for those, now we have pastors that watch us and listen to us. And I planted a church back in, my gracious, 92 on the south side.
Okay.
And, was the lead pastor for 13 years. And I'm living to tell about it. Planting churches is not for the faint of heart, is it?
It is not. It wasn't what I had planned, but it's what God had planned for that season. And it was interesting, man. We actually planted in a karate dojo where you had to take your shoes off to come into church.
Wow.
And then we got offered a black box theater down the road for free. And so we jumped at that. And so we were there for a couple of years until we merged with New Beginnings.
Now tell us a little bit about your story. How did you get into the ministry? Is that something you set out to do? You're 17 years old. You said, hey, someday I'm going to be a Methodist pastor. That's what you said, right?
Yeah, no, not at all. So my dad is a retired Methodist pastor, very, very successful Methodist pastor and he pastored a church in Johns Creek for about 17 years.
Okay.
And I was called when I was a kid, but I didn't want to do it, and definitely didn't want to do it since, when your father is that successful at something, you definitely don't want to go into the family business. But I ran for a long time, and we can talk about that, but I ran for a long time, and I didn't go into the ministry till I was 30. And so it's what I knew I was meant to do.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not what I wanted to do. I wanted to make movies for a living, but that didn't happen.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, well, it would have been, but God said no.
Pastor Jared Lathem with us. He's the lead pastor at New Beginnings Methodist in Kennesaw. So you ran, and how many times have, Jared, no doubt you've heard this story before, you've lived it, of course, where someone is called at a young age and they decide to run, just like in the book of Jonah, right? It never quite works out. What is it in us that we think we can outrun the voice, outrun God? What is that?
I mean, I think it's pride. To begin with, that I want my way. I think my way is best, and it's the fear of surrender, to give yourself over to either someone else or to God is terrifying, because you don't know. It's like, Abram, go to the land I'm going to show you, and you're like, no, can you show me the land first? And it doesn't work that way. And so it's terrifying, absolutely terrifying, because you just don't know what the future holds.
Do you think your experience, this is softball probably, the experience that you had. And thank you so much for saying yes at 30. Yeah, Jesus started his public ministry at 30. I guess you can kind of look at that.
Yeah.
But you start at 30. How has that helped you to minister to the folks that you're ministering? And what does your congregation look like demographic wise? Is it young, old, middle, all of the above? What?
Currently, we are an older congregation. They reached out to me because they want to go younger.
Okay.
It is a multicultural, multiracial church. We have people from multiple countries in our church. My wife is Venezuelan, and so we're a multiracial family.
Okay.
But yeah, so you mentioned the autobiographical thing. It's how I preach. I'm not afraid to tell my story. I don't air my dirty laundry, but I use the fact that, I've gone through the wilderness for a very long time. I lived in debauchery for a very long time. I know what it means and feels like to be lost. And so I'm very open and honest because I think people respond to that. They respond to a pastor who is willing to share that, hey, I haven't always been a pastor.
That's good. Pastor Jared Lathem is the lead pastor of New Beginnings Methodist there in Kennesaw, not far from Ezra. So when you visit New Beginnings, stop by Ezra's place. There's going to be some good food at the Ortiz household there. So maybe we should just get you guys over there, Jared, you and your wife and your family, and you guys can, because he had some jerky in the office the other day. And it was unbelievable. Nice. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about, and you just kind of said it, authenticity, because because you share your life and your story. It kind of lowers the walls of folks. What have you seen in not just here at this church, but folks that you've ministered to when they see you and go, are you sure you're a Methodist pastor? You don't look like my grandma's Methodist pastor. You look a little different. And believe me,
praise God.
Yeah. Hey, I'm on your side. But you get second looks, right? I mean, no offense to those that would take a second look. But I mean, hey, look at Pastor Jared now. He does not look like, he looks like a rock band member. He looks like he should be in some rock band somewhere, but he's not. He is he may be in a rock band, but he's a pastor. So what have you seen? How have you seen people soften up as you've been able to relate to them?
It was interesting. I pastored, I was on staff at a large church in East Cobb for a few years, leading a modern service. And, East Cobb, wonderful people, but a lot of money and it's about keeping up appearances, and which is normal for most places, really. But it was interesting to watch them respond to a pastor who was willing to talk about, his own struggles and to be open and honest and authentic. It allowed, well, here's what I found. I found that people want authenticity. They just don't maybe know that. And so it actually draws people like a moth to a flame. I mean, people just recognize authenticity and someone being real. And they appreciate that. And it slowly opens them up to being authentic and being real. And so, based on just feedback that I've received from congregation members, it's that authenticity that drew them to the church or to the congregation.
Is it just me, or do you think that here we are in an age, and you grew up in church? I did not. I was born again in 82.
Okay.
Then found myself in the ministry, 6-7 years later. And I've experienced it all. And sometimes you go, my God, what have we built here? This is just crazy. Do you think that people are looking for, I really think that people really are looking for authenticity. It kind of sounds like a buzz, doesn't it? You're looking for authenticity, but they really, really are looking for that because, hey, the smoke machines aren't really working. The trapeze, with the people flying overhead, and that it's at my age at this point, it's a little gimmicky, or a lot gimmicky to me. I think that, and this is an old boomer talking, okay? So forget
Yeah,
it. I think that most people are looking for, real. Hey,
yeah.
if you got you've had stuff going on in your life, you still struggle with this, but you love Jesus. I think that's real. Don't you think people are looking for that?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, it's like it draws like moths to a flame. Because we live in a world that is run by lies. I mean, what is truth today? And I think, obviously we both know there's that deep thing within us that is looking for the truth of God. And so when they find a church that preaches truth, but is also open and honest and approachable and authentic, yeah, I think it is exactly what people want. Exactly. Look, if you got smoke machines and you got trapeze artists, so be it. If you got that kind of budget, but um, as long as you're being authentic and you're preaching the the absolute truth of the Bible,
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna attract people. I think people are tired of the fancy, we look good, but we're 2 inches deep.
Yeah.
I think they're tired of that.
Hey, I really like this guy. I gotta if he's up for it, I'd love to have him back, Pastor Jared Lathem.
Anytime, man.
If you tell me that you have a Harley Davidson, I'm gonna go ballistic here. I'm just gonna go, this has got
No,
this okay, but he needs one. So if
my
anybody there that has one, they're not using it, watching or listening, Jared's about a minute from Ezra. He'll give you the directions. Jared Lathem, the
I'll take it.
pastor of New Beginnings. You need a Harley is what you need.
There you go.
And I get nothing from that, by the way.
Okay.
I'm not endorsing for Harley. I just own one. I love this. You're reaching so many people deeply
Mm.
with your lives, you and your wife and your family laying down. You guys have kids?
4.
Four? Oh, that's right. You did say that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Remind me the ages. Are they older, younger, in between, mixed up? What?
Mixed up. We've got a 17-year-old daughter, a 14-year-old son, a 9-year-old daughter, and an 8-year-old daughter.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that break between the two sets is when my wife and I were separated.
Okay.
Yeah. So when she married me, I was not a pastor, and I was a horrible person, And she finally walked away and said, "I'm done, but God is good."
Wow, what a story. And she comes back.
Yeah. She's standing right over there.
Wow, that is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a story. That is amazing. I'm
Yeah.
sure you share that from time to time to
Oh,
folks
absolutely.
who
Yeah.
have marriage troubles or are on the brink or whatever.
Yeah.
How encouraging is that? Because people at that point, both sides figure, hey, I don't see any way this is coming together but God.
Yeah.
And way to go, guys. That's just awesome. So
Thank
how is it parenting? How do you guys, so many pastors and of course have different age kids, but how is parenting to you? Is it easy? Is it
I mean,
is it challenging? What?
all of the above, I
Yeah.
think. We homeschool. And we've got 4, I know what most parents say this, but we've got 4 amazing kids.
Hmm.
And the thing that has really helped us is family devotion and prayer time.
Mm.
It's kind of my soapbox. But we've kind of lost the idea of spiritual leaders in homes and the family altar. And so as one of the ministries we started years ago was to raise up spiritual leaders in homes and to teach people how to read the Bible and pray with their kids and share communion with their family. And I think implementing that has radically, helped us in raising our kids and help them being the amazing kids they are. And so, yeah, we have our challenges like every other family,
Sure.
but we're very intentional about talking about faith in an honest and open way. And I think we're seeing the benefits of that.
My gracious, I love that. Seems so simple, doesn't it? In a sense, that's the secret sauce, the simplicity of it, I guess.
Yeah, and I remember talking to someone about, reading the Bible with their kids, and they were like, "Well, I'm not comfortable reading the Bible. I barely know it." And so what I tell people is start with a kid's Bible. Your
Yeah.
kids don't need to know it's for you.
Yeah.
Just if you're in the shallow end, just own it. Don't be ashamed of it. Just own it. Be open with your kids that, hey, this is new to me too. And just start growing with them. Our number one job as a parent is not to make sure they become doctors and lawyers. Our number one job as parents is to make sure they know Jesus.
That's good.
And so yeah, I think that's what we do, and it has blessed our family.
The kids think you're a cool dad?
They think my wife's cool.
I never thought that I would lecture as a parent when I was younger. My dad was a lecturer, and I said, I will never lecture. And guess what?
Yep.
I became a lecturer. So, but I think at times they don't really care. My boys are all men, but they're laughing at the dad jokes now. But back when they were younger, they were nah.
Yeah, but I don't care. I tell them anyways. They make me laugh.
All right, Ezra, get him on the calendar. This guy, he's amazing. Pastor Jared Lathem, lead pastor of New Beginnings Methodist in Kennesaw. And I did not write down there it is right there on the ticker. The website is newbeginningsmc.org. Check them out. Pastor, you got to promise me you'll come back on the podcast. Would love to have you
anytime
and talk about more stuff and just
anytime, brother.
Dig down deep. What a great guy. Blessings to you and your wife and your family.
You too, brother.
You're doing so good. So good. Hey, thank you so much for joining us for this podcast. Thanks for watching it, listening to it on your smartphone. You can download it and hey, please share it, will you? And tell people that they can watch it on YouTube and on the Facebook. Until next time on Two Pastors Unplugged, I'm Rick Probst. See ya.